Hello, and this is going to be the part 2 of Itemization on Antimage as part of the Antimage series slash guide or whatever in 7.0. This pisses me off. I apparently never downloaded this replay. It's rather unfortunate. This is a pretty, I think this is a pretty freaking good game. So last we ended, we talked about everything up to pretty much Abyssal Blade. This we're going to talk about the different variations you can do in an early game. So we're going to put the graph on the board so you can understand how bad this game was. We were over 10k down. Our points were 20k down. It was a sad game. And you see him against a Bloodseeker, who's a really annoying anti-mage counter, against a Rubik and a Nyx Assassin, which, like, them combined will really ruin my day. And a Rubik can just be kind of annoying because he can steal your blink and then follow you around and, like, continue a chase on you. And you can't just kind of blink away from Rubik because he's just going to steal the ability. Not that he's really that scary by himself, but if he just stalls people long enough for... if he just stalls you long enough to get people to you, like he lifts you and throws you back towards a Nyx stun, when you're just about to escape, it's going to really fuck up your day. So, you'll notice in this game, I'll try and explain the itemization. The Ags was actually the last item I purchased, and I switched it for my Manta, because they had so many freaking targeted things. They had the Dagon to break my Ags and everything. He had an Ags too, holy crap, which means he gets 2 charges on his ult. He has a Dagon. Dagon's everywhere. Do they have a sheep? I thought they had a sheep. Maybe they didn't have a sheep. They got an Abyssal Blade on the Jug and an Abyssal Blade on the Spectre. So there's a lot of things that can break my Lincolns, which is why I ended up getting an Ags too. All the interactions seemed a little weird. Anyway, we're going to explain a situation where you can get Mjolnir. So, I wanted a Lincoln Sphere, and one of the big things Battle Fury does for you is actually give you regen, which is health and mana regen. The mana regen is a really, really big deal because you need it to support constant blinking. So, the thing that makes an Agnum's Rush not viable, but a Lincoln Sphere Rush more viable, is that this is giving you 15 stats and 150% mana regen. The Ags is not going to give you the mana regen you need to sustain blinking, while the Lincoln Sphere will. So while it is a little more and its build-up is probably a little worse, and overall gives you a little less HP and stats, it's going to help you in a situation where you don't want to get a Battle Fury. In this game, I decided that I was going to get a Maelstrom to help me farm and push, and I was going to get a Lincoln Sphere to give me the regen I needed and the survivability against a Bloodseeker and Nyx. Because if the Lincoln Sphere stops one of these abilities, if it stops a stun or a Bloodseeker ult or a lift, it'll probably save me. That's the rationale. That's the rationale for getting those items. Or getting like a defensive item like a Lincoln's first. And to be fully honest, this was also an unranked game, so I wanted to try out a different itemization. But I've gotten Maelstrom in quite a few anti-mage games. I'm going to pull that up and just show you. I have a pretty high win rate with it. One of the other things that lets you get it is, you can't see on here, but I also purchased a Vlad, so I want like Treads Vlad's Maelstrom, I believe was the itemization I went. That's to make sure that I'm never low HP, because I'm going to have the lifesteal. And that Maelstrom's like 2/3 the cost of a full Battle Fury, so I can get that and start farming a little quicker. So one of the big things that opens up your ability to get a Maelstrom first is having another source of mana regeneration. An obvious answer for this is the Lincoln Sphere is what I got. An alternative is if I'm having a really rough game, and I have a Crystal Maiden on my team. Can I choose items in the Dota search? Probably not. Doesn't seem like I can. There's so many anti-mage games. Let's see. Okay, anyway. So we'll go back to this and I'll look for the games later. They're probably a while ago. So one thing that will supplant that mana regeneration is having a Crystal Maiden and a Vlad's. A Vlad's alone isn't enough, but a Crystal Maiden will pretty much serve the same purpose of having the mana regen from the Battle Fury. So that will allow you to go like Treads, Vlad's, Maelstrom, and then use the Maelstrom to push quicker. As we discussed in the last game, the reason you get a Battle Fury is to push. The reason you get the Maelstrom is the same thing, pretty much. The drawbacks to the Maelstrom is it's not as good at killing Ancients. And Ancients are a big part of where you get your farm in like the early and the mid game. And if you want to kill an Ancient stack, it's damn near impossible with a Mjolnir. You would take so much damage. and it wouldn't die quickly at all. While the Battle Fury kills ancient stacks very quickly. Stacking is not as prevalent anymore, so that's actually not really that big of a deal. Sorry about that, I'm gonna go do something. So yeah, stacking is really not as prevalent, particularly of ancients anymore, because now it's odd spawns, or 1, 3, and 5 minutes instead of 1, 2, and 3 minutes that you have neutral keep spawning. So you really don't see stacking being as big a part of the game anymore. It still can be, but just know that a Maelstrom will not let you clear ancient stacks really at all. Until like super late at the point where you wouldn't really care whether or not you could clear it. Well, Battle Fury can do it easily. Kind of beat that point to death. The benefit of the Mjolnir is a Battle Fury is a purely pretty much farming item. It gives you like 50 damage or 45 damage or something. Really an inconsequential amount of damage. The primary focus of the item is to farm. That is it. A Mjolnir is an inherently aggressive item, and for AM, particularly after the illusion change, where illusions now benefit from raw attack speed, your illusions get 80 more attack speed with a full Mjolnir. That's fucking great. Your illusions are going to take away so much mana from people, and it's going to make your soul killing potential better. Even before I played around with getting Maelstrom and Mjolnir on AM, I theorized that in ultra late game scenarios, it could be more beneficial to replace a Battle Fury with a Mjolnir because it gives you better combat effectiveness. That was a long time ago when before they neutered Abyssal Blade. I was thinking about that because Abyssal Blade gave you tons of damage, and I was like, even before your illusions got the attack speed, it would still technically be a stronger late game item because you can put the Mjolnir charge on yourself as well, and that's when Heart was also core in AM. So a Mjolnir charge and a Heart, very effective together. Particularly on Antimage, because it's going to take a lot of spells to take him down, which means you're going to have that charge flying off and hitting a lot of people. So in the last video, we talked up to getting Abyssal Blade. So in situations where you wouldn't want to get an Agnum Scepter, go over some of the heroes would be terrible against. The big things you want on Lincoln Sphere, and therefore maybe would consider Agnums against, would be a Legion Commander. Getting Ags against a Legion Commander is completely pointless. All you do is cancel her duel and start your own. So you don't want to do that because it serves the same purpose. Her goal is to duel you. So you, instead of her dueling you, you duel her, and she just wants the duel. So that fucks you. There's another hero, Bloodseeker. It could be okay against a Bloodseeker. Where the hell is it? Add your heroes. B. Bloodseeker. It could be okay against a Bloodseeker because it would redirect the spell back at him, which kind of hurts. Because he's super fast and he would hurt himself and he would take away one of his big aspects because he'd be rupturing himself. That's okay. Not really worth rushing. It can be worth getting as like a fourth or a fifth or sixth item if you're really having trouble dealing with the Bloodseeker. The problem is he has an easy way to break it by Blood Raging him. By Blood Raging you. Let's see if he has a Shadow Blade, he'll just Blood Rage you, which will Blood Rage himself, and then he'll Rupture you. Which bones you anyway. Because now he probably wants to Blood Rage himself to do more damage, so that just lets him break it. It can be okay against a Bloodseeker though, because in the chaos of a fight, he's not going to be able to execute that combo well enough to be comfortable with in most situations. Doom with an Axe could be kind of annoying. It would be annoying for him to throw Doom on himself, but you don't really see Doom anymore. It could be pretty okay against the Doom. God, there's another hero. I'm just losing my brain right now. Having an Alk stun himself if he's out of control, it could be okay against. But overall, like, everything I'm talking about, it comes down to, oh, it's kind of okay. Lassoing a Batrider would be kind of funny, I guess. It's actually funny when you Lotus Orb a Batrider, because they both just stand still. Like, you lassos and just stand still. Because both of them just lassoed each other, and neither of them can move, because they're lassoed. Yeah, that's really it. Like, anything that Lincoln's is good, it's kind of... Oh, Spirit Breaker, that's the other one I was thinking about. Right. The Spirit Breaker, having the people have the ability to charge you and then set up that gank is really annoying. Being able to stop that with the Lincoln Sphere, is pretty great. Being able to stop with a being able to stop it with an axe means that you're gonna direct it at yourself. There's actually a really funny video. Oh, I'm gonna hope I can find it. Reddit, hold on, Reddit, Dota 2. Should have pulled this up beforehand. Why you don't build ags on Antimage? Oh, let's hope we get it. Oh, we couldn't find it. Anyway, it was a game. I'll just have to explain it. So there was a game where there was a techies. It was super late game, like 80 minutes in, and the AM was against the techies and a Spirit Breaker. The AM sneaked his way over to the side shop, and I think he purchased like a rapier or something. The Spirit Breaker saw him, and he had an axe. The Spirit Breaker charged him, which forced the AM to charge the Spirit Breaker, and the AM was right next to mines, but not on top of them. So when the Spirit Breaker charged him, it pulled the AM on top of the mines, and the techies detonated him and killed the Antimage in like ultra late game. I don't know if he had a rapier. That would make it funnier. I wouldn't be surprised when it's 80 minutes in if the AM had a rapier. But yeah, he was sad. So against the Spirit Breaker, all it's going to do is pull you out of position. Yes, you can cancel it by hitting stop or moving or whatever. But for that one moment, it's going to be annoying. And if he pulls you in the direction of the enemy you're trying to run from, you're going to be fucking irritated about it. Because you're not even going to get the... when you charge, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get the greater bash with the charge throughs. So those people you charge through aren't going to be stopped from like stunning you and annoying you. So overall, the item is not really much better than Lincoln Sphere, and the problem is that it doesn't give you regen. If it gave me like 4 mana regen and gave me that ability, then the item would definitely replace Aghanim Scepter's existence, or sorry, it would replace Lincoln Sphere on Antimage. But as is, since it doesn't give you that mana regen, it makes it like a niche 5th, 6th item, as opposed to like a viable maybe 2nd or 3rd item for you to get. That's a quick like overview on why you don't necessarily get Ags over Lincolns. In this game in particular, the Marana and the Invoker, which were partied together, felt the need to tell me how I was retarded for having a Lincolns instead of an Ags, because I don't know it's better. I understood it was better, but based off the timing, that's when you get it. Let's talk about some of the other items on Antimage. Generally, I'll round out my 6 slot if I'm doing a purely aggressive itemization, which means I'll have like Travels, Manta, Battle Fury, Butterfly, Abyssal, and my 6th item would probably be an MKB, just to anticipate potential evasion. If there's like no chance of them getting evasion, let's say there's strength heroes who don't want a halberd, and no one's building a Solar Crest, for whatever reason no one's getting evasion, Daedalus would be a superior item if you want raw damage. Another alternative is Scotty, which lets you man fight people better, because it gives you an attack and a move speed slow, so that kind of works decently well with AM's kit. If you need to tank up and you want to be able to weave in and out of fights, the Heart is always a great item you can get. So those are basically the 3 items you're probably going to consider rounding out your kit with. Another fun alternative, if let's say you're against like a Medusa or someone who has a Scotty, or not Scotty, a Lincoln Sphere, and you need to break a Lincoln Sphere. E-Blade gives 40 agility, which is a huge amount of agility, so it increases the damage your illusions are doing. Well, it was better when illusions only got attack speed from Agi, but now they get it from either way. It's still viable, and it's pretty clowny. You can break a Lincoln's with an E-Blade, then Abyssal them, and then use your Mana Void. So that way your core abilities don't get affected, and it still gives you some pretty decent stats. If you really just want to clown on people, you can Blink, Manta, E-Blade, and then ult them. And it'll obviously it amps the damage that your ult's doing, which is really good. So that's pretty funny to solo kill and clown on people. I think it was Bisa used to do that all the time, because he's like a phenomenal anti-mage player. And it was pretty funny. So the goal of this was mainly to talk about Mjolnir as a potential in the early game, and Ags, which I think a lot of people have like questionable thoughts about, and whether or not you can get it. I talked about a lot of the options. So I know I'm forgetting. I feel like there's an item I'm forgetting that you can get. That might not be the worst thing in the world. We'll go into a game real quick. But yeah, you don't... I want to stress that this isn't stuff you really want to consider doing until you're really comfortable. Why the fuck am I queuing an actual game? This isn't stuff you really want to focus on doing until you're really comfortable with the fundamentals of playing Antimage, which comes down to, do you understand farming patterns? Can you get those basic 3 items up to Abyssal Blade? And then after you do that, you can, after you get that all down, you can think about those weird items that'll fill that 5% void. But more often than not, let's see. Okay, we'll go down the item list. Oh, I've gotten Sight Device on AM as a last item to give you more lockdown. That could be a replacement for that E-Blade to either change lockdown someone if they're slippery like a Slark, or to break a Lincoln Sphere. That was pretty funny. Oh, AC, if you're against like a Slardar or an Elder Titan, that's like the best thing you can get is an Assault Cuirass. It's going to give you 15 armor, and it lets you push harder with your illusions. So that's something you want to consider as like a potential item against an ET who counters Agi heroes, because any ET removes all armor based on agility. So if you're building a butterfly, that's armor roll from agility, so you'd lose all your armor. This is going to give you the base 15 armor that's going to give you that physical survivability that's really, really important. I knew I forgot to talk about something. It was the Rapier. Yeah, so if you're against that or like a Slardar, that's going to give you that huge amount of armor that's going to make the difference in those fights. Against a Slardar, it's going to negate almost all of his ult's armor, so you'll still be left with probably like, from all your Agi, maybe like 15, 18 armor, which is pretty significant to man fight with, particularly if they have other stuff that makes them do damage. Let's see. Can't use Satanic on AM because it's a unique attack modifier, because it's lifesteal. That's why you have to build a Vlad's on AM. The day where you can build Satanic would be a pretty freaking cool day, but we're probably a few patches away from that. I'm sure he'll get it eventually, but you got Scotty now. You can use Scotty. You used to not be able to get Scotty. Mjolnir could still be an okay 6-slot item if you don't need an MKB, but truthfully, you probably want damage of some sort. So if that item is really up in the air, you can get whatever you want. Odds are you're going to want a Daedalus or an MKB. I never purchase Daedalus, but I'm almost always against some type of lineup that can build evasion. So I'd rather just prepare for that evasion and ruin that itemization route for them, because it can open up a timing window. Talked about Heart already. That's really it. Oh, Rapier. That's the AM fuck it item. When you're in a game and it's like the last ditch effort, you can buy a Rapier. I usually wouldn't get it until after I have a Butterfly. So I usually said you're gonna go Manta, then Abyssal, and then B-Fly, and then your last item will be a Rapier. If you're really in shit shape, you can get a Rapier before a B-Fly, or go like B-Fly into Rapier if you know the game's that bad. And what that lets you do is AM's main benefit is his ability to split push a lane and put the pressure on. He'll kill a tower pretty quickly normally. When you have a Rapier, you're going to see that thing melt faster than you ever thought. There's actually a really funny game where Eternal Enemy buys a Rapier in a really weird moment against a Chinese team. And this Chinese team's up by like 20 or 25,000. And he ends up losing the game and looking, oh, he doesn't look like an idiot. But they were so thrown off by the Rapier pickup. When they saw the AM here, they misperceived how quickly he'd be able to push this, because they didn't know he had a Rapier. So he just knocks down the whole freaking... he raxes them when they're like 20, 25,000 down, because they're planning to push here, because they misperceived how quickly everything would go down. It's also going to help you with the solo kills once in combination with the Abyssal Blade, but the main focus would be, obviously, to get those solo kills in fights, and to get the tower pushed as hard as you can. Because once they're away from base, this shit is going to melt super quickly with a Rapier. If you have I've replaced, when the game's gone long enough and I felt that I'm in a desperate situation, which means I'm like post 6-slotted. I'm 6-slotted with a consumed Moonshard, and I'm sitting on 12k. I've gotten rid of butterflies for Rapiers. If the enemy cores have MKBs, then you can ditch the B-Fly for a Rapier, or B-Fly for another item, because a big part of the B-Fly is the evasion. While everything else it offers is really nice, that evasion is a huge aspect of it too. So they already built MKBs to counter that evasion, so you're taking away a big part of what they spent their money on, and then you're replacing that with something else. Because let's say they have B-Flies and they have MKBs, then you want to keep your MKB, ditch your B-Fly for something like a Rapier to give you that edge on them when you have that gold, that type of gold. Something else you can also ditch, if you end up having to ditch an item when you're playing like a super late game, I think the Manta actually, this is gonna be a questionable thing I'm gonna say here, but in the super late game, I don't feel like the Manta does as much for you. You can never sell your Battle Fury because you always need to have the ability to go back to split pushing, and split pushing without a Battle Fury is very, very slow. So if you're purely going for a solo kill, you'd want a Manta and not a Battle Fury. But if you're split pushing, then you don't really need a Manta to split push. You know, you can replace that late game with a Lincoln to give you bigger. Let's say it's at a point where they have tons of lockdown, then a Manta counters like silences and things you can purge. You can't purge stuns, so in that case, a Lincoln's or an Axe might serve you better. Or if you need the damage, a Rapier will serve you better. So that's how you want to switch up items late game. So in a typical six slot, let's go without a 6 slot right now and talk about that. Typical 6 slot, we have this, and that. Level everything up. We're gonna buy double booties. Buy Manta. Buy a Butterfly. Buy a Battle Fury. And we're buying a Abyssal Blade. Oh, we're gonna barely have enough room. I'm not gonna have enough room. Darn it. I'm forgetting an item. What am I forgetting? Battle Fury. Definitely missing. Oh, okay. We'll just pretend there's an MKB there. So in terms of the items you want to replace, if you need a split push, you always want to keep the Battle Fury at least in like your stash or something. If you need to split push, then you sub out your Manta. If they have MKBs, you can ditch your Butterfly for like a Rapier while maintaining rest of your 6 slot. So in terms of like item priority and what you get rid of, you need to keep the Battle Fury for split pushing. The Manta can be ditched if your game's solely focused on split pushing, and solo killing is really not an option because they have like double boots of travel and you're in the ultra late game. And the Butterfly can be ditched for another item if they have MKBs. So in terms of what I ditch, it's situationally the Battle Fury, you have to keep it on you. You can get rid of the Manta, or you get rid of the B-Fly if they have MKBs, and you get rid of the Manta if they don't have MKBs and you want to split push. But if you're trying to go for a solo kill, you get rid of the Battle Fury. So like, because you have this stupid thing over here now, the backpack, you have the ability to keep those items in flux. So that's something you should always keep in mind. That's going to help you more for solo kills, and that's going to help you more for split pushing. When you have a BKB, that also mitigates what Manta style can do. When you jump on an enemy hero, that's another reason why the Manta is like not as good once you're past like 60 minutes and the enemy carries have caught up to you. Because AM's main benefit is being ahead in terms of items. And at 60 minutes, most other carries are going to be 6 slotted, and you're just working on altering your items, buying wards for your team so they can get their items, and maximizing your slot efficiency against theirs is what you kind of want to do. So I guess we can kind of end it there. I don't think there's too much more to talk about. You never buy an Octarine core. I thought Diffusal would be funny because of how much agi it gave, but now that you get attack speed with your illusions, it's not as funny. And if it's stacked with the mana burn, it would be hilarious, but it doesn't. I don't think Echo Saber's good. Shadow Blade could be funny. Like Dagger's hilarious. Aether Lens is funny if there's a Bloodseeker in the game. So for those of you who aren't aware, Bloodseeker works where if you move less than 1300 range over the course of 0.1 seconds. 1300 range over 0.1 seconds. If you move less than that, you take rupture damage. That's why you can TP home and you won't take any damage. AM's Blink is 1150 range. You buy an Aether Lens, you get 220 cast range, which will make your Blink 1370 range. So you'll be able to blink without taking damage from rupture. I think it would be hilarious. Probably not really viable in most games. Still hilarious. Let's see. That's why I like Quap's blink is exactly 1300. So if you move a little bit on Quap and then you blink, you won't take rupture damage from the blink. You'll take a little bit of movement damage, but you have to like blink and then move. And if you instantly blink and move, you won't take rupture damage on Quap. But it has to be very, very quick. If you stand still for a second after you do the blink, you will take the rupture damage and it will fucking hurt. So you want to move, max range blink, and keep moving. Once you get the Aether Lens on AM, you don't even have to worry about that, though. You'll have all the range you could ever want. This fucking thing. Get out of here. Sell. Sell. So I thought it'd be funny. I haven't done it yet. I wait for the day where I can do it. It's when I'm less of a coward. Maybe I'll do it on my Smurf or something. So that we kind of talked about all the itemizations. Just to quickly recap, you need something to supplant your regen if you're doing a Maelstrom build. That can be a Crystal Maiden, or in the case of that game I looked at earlier, which is still up on the board, it can be an early Lincoln Sphere, but you have to justify the Lincoln Sphere, otherwise the Battle Fury is better. You don't want to get a Lincoln Sphere when they don't have any target abilities. That'd be stupid. I got it because with the combination of a Nyx and a Bloodseeker in a game I'm behind in, those guys are going to be easily able to run trail on me. All these deaths didn't happen until the super late game. Maybe I died once. Can I look at the times on this? Player item, player. Doesn't show it on here. Or I don't know how to see it. I don't think it shows the timers. No, it doesn't show the death timers. But yeah, like there was sometimes they went on me and they weren't able to get the kill just because I blocked that one spell that's gonna fuck me. Whether it's the Rupture that's gonna fuck me, or whether it's the Nyx Stun that's gonna fuck me, the Nyx Mana Burn, or Rubik Lift. I actually have to look this up. I think I might be wrong in blocking Nyx Stun. I need to find out the answer to this. I think it's Nyx that doesn't block actually, because he can't target ground on it. He can't target ground on it. Yeah. Okay. So. It doesn't work on the Nyx Stun, because he has to target ground. It'll work on, like, Lion Impale. So if we replace that with, like, a Lion or something, the same idea applies. But either way, I'm blocking one of the things that's going to hurt me. If I'm playing low, it's the same, like, with a Nyx, the Mana Burn can hurt you, because early on in the game, you're going to be pretty low on mana. So if they manage to jump you together, and then you get Mana Burn to 0 mana, you're also effectively dead. Even if you have full HP, whatever, you're dead because you can't blink away, you know? And that effectively kills you too, because you're only gonna have 5 reach in a second, and that mana burns every 4 or 5 seconds if you maxed it out early. So that's gonna hurt. It'll take you like 10 seconds to regen. I think even right now, it's gonna take me 8 seconds to get the mana to do a blink or something. 8 times 8 is 64. Yeah. So it's gonna take me about 8 seconds to get the regen required to blink. And in 8 seconds, a Bloodseeker and a Nyx are gonna fucking kill you and get more mana burns off on you. So it helped a lot against that particular game, and it made sense. But if you're playing a game seriously, I want to stress that you only want to do that when the game justifies it. And a Maelstrom requires that you have regen, which can be from a Crystal Maiden or from a Linken's. Can't come from an Ags. Or you'd have to use the shrines very liberally, and you'd have to TP home a lot. Because your shrines aren't up enough. They're up every 5 minutes. You'd run out of mana most likely in those 5 minutes from even like tread switching. So we're gonna end that here. What's up? It's coming over.